Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over the basics of Final Cut Pro. Alright, so let's dive right into Final Cut Pro. I just want to go over the basic layouts of the program itself. So if you go to the upper left, this is where all your project files are going to be. If you're going to create a new one, you hit Command N and then you can adjust whatever parameters of the project that you want, and then it just shows up right here. Any clips that you import into a specific library will show up down here, and then the next icon over this little music icon is where you'll find your music, and then here's all your music. Then you could easily just grab one, you could play it, preview it, and drop it right down on your timeline. This timeline at the bottom is where you're going to be building out your project. All right, so the next one over is going to be where you'll find your titles and your generators. So you'll be able just to drop down. Here's a little intro sequence, but you'll find all your titles. I mean, they have a lot of basic ones too, but these are the ones that we use here, and then also generators as well. So from there, if we want to come down here, you'll see an index. Here, let me go back to one that's already somewhat built out here, because you can click on the index and you'll see a vertical view of all the clips that are on your timeline. So if you're trying to quickly jump to one, you can say I want to go to the intro, then just click on the intro right here. I usually don't use the index too much. You can also tag and do roles for different clips, which is very nice. What you'll also find is a guide or a key for all the shortcuts of everything. So A is the one where you're just moving around. B is, so anyways, you can look here, you can find all of the shortcuts. So you got A, T, P, R, B, Z, N, and then the tool associated with that. It's very easy to navigate, and so that's where you'll find your key. Now if we come over here, you'll find transforming the clip. So if you want to do like a Ken Burns effect, or if you want to crop it, you can do that as well. Yeah, we usually would just use the crop or the trim tool, but yeah, you can zoom in. You have the Ken Burns, and then you also find your speed. So if you select a clip and say I want this clip to be faster or slower, you'll find all of those options within here, or if you want to revert it back to normal, and then there's shortcuts associated with that as well. All right, so if we go a little bit to the right, here at the lower, you'll find the transitions all the way to the icon all the way to the right are the transitions and effects. So here's our transitions. These are all the basic ones that we use for our property videos. Usually don't use too many effects. I mean, there are some effects that you can use. And then this is just to change the view. If you don't like the default view of Final Cut Pro, you can change it. And then, you know, if you want snapping on or off, the shortcut for that is N, and that's turning it on and off. So N turns it on and off. It comes in really handy when you want to just quickly go to if you want your marker just to stop at the beginning or end of a clip. All right, and upper right is where you'll find all your individual clip settings. So if we have this clip right here, you can do colors. So they have color wheels. You can do this drop down. By default, it's not color wheels. I believe it's a color board by default, but I like to use the color wheels from time to time because you have a little bit more creative flexibility here. On the information tab, you'll be able to change the LUT of the footage. You can also change your color space, which we have to use a lot for our HLG footage to make it look right in Final Cut Pro. And then on this first tab is where you'll find just an overview of all the effects and colors that you've applied to this clip, and you can easily select or deselect. You can also do keyframes to where you're scaling in or however you want to do it. So there's keyframes over here, and then you can kind of move it and adjust it. You just have to mess with it, but yeah. So all your transform tools, crop tools. So this is where you'll find your stabilization if you want to stabilize a clip, one that's really really rough, you can just click on stabilization. Depending on the footage, it'll come out looking nice or not so nice. Now, if you have a clip that you shot at 30 frames per second and you need to slow it down because you went too fast, you can slow it down, right? But if you slow it down to 50%, it's only 15 frames per second, so it's likely gonna look pretty choppy. This is where you'll find to fix that. If you go over here to frame sampling and then drop down to optical flow, that Final Cut Pro will create some additional frames for you to make your footage look smoother. Depending on how big the gaps are between your frames, it'll look smooth or not, depending on how wide. But anyways, that is a tool that we use often here when using slow motion. And I think that's it for the basics here that I wanted to go over today. Oh, actually, once you're done editing your project, on the upper right, you'll find the export, and then you can export as a master file or whatever. You can send it straight to Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and they have other destination options as well. Here you can change your view if you want to see, video scopes, angles, just different. They got a lot of different view options, and then here is where you can zoom in or zoom out on your footage. But anyways, that's pretty straightforward. I feel like I went over all the basics. There's a lot of tutorials on the internet that you can dive in deeper on individual things within Final Cut Pro. But if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you guys on the next one.